Appena finiscono i titoli di coda, cominciamo la chiacchierata con Florian Gaag, il regista, quindi se aspettate in sala inizia a breve e non durerà moltissimo.
Yo, yo. Innanzitutto, ragazzi, vi è piaciuto? Vi ha gasato un po'? Adesso stiamo aspettando Florian, infatti un casino per Florian, raga, che è venuto. Incredibile, raga, secondo me è una bomba. Anche la colonna sonora è incredibile, tutta prodotta da lui, tra l'altro. Adesso aspettiamo Florian e... Beh, raga, grazie comunque che siete rimasti, cioè, almeno io non lo vedevo da una vita, a me mi ha gasato un botto. Cioè, proprio tutto lo storytelling, la storia, secondo me è stata una bomba. Cioè, non so voi, non so cosa ne pensate, però qualità davvero alta. E anche, secondo me, la qualità dei graffiti all'interno del film è davvero altissima, fighissimo. E questo, raga, è il primo evento che abbiamo fatto noi del Lungolinea, la nostra nuova iniziativa Get Down. Infatti, grandi che siete qua perché è la nostra prima volta che presentiamo questo progetto Get Down, che è una rassegna proprio legata all'hip hop, alle sue radici, e quindi grandi che siete qua perché proviamo, sperimentiamo e stiamo cercando di portare un nuovo tipo di format proprio a livello di programmazione. E quindi da oggi inizieremo per tutto il mese di giugno una serie di eventi che avranno sempre come filo conduttore appunto l'hip hop, la cultura hip hop, i graffiti. Grande Florian che è arrivato. E abbiamo voluto aprire con Florian perché pensavamo che questo film fosse come punto di inizio fondamentale, anzi siamo onorati. Grazie Florian.
Grazie.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Thank you to Mattia and Longolinea and everyone from the team. And thanks to you for coming, actually. Okay. All right.
E raga, non siate timidi, Florian è un grande, se avete domande, qualsiasi cosa me lo dite, vi porto il microfono e gli facciamo le domande.
So, man, I want to talk the less possible and let you talk the most. For me, it's like a dream to have you here. So that's personal. I want for the people here to let you explain the best of your movie. And so, as first, my question is why you did this movie.
Why did I do this movie? I have to elaborate. If we don't have much time, but I try to be as exact as I can be. I have a personal history with this. You know, I started writing in 1984 and was like hooked by this culture very early on, and was part of this culture before it was anything, you know. basically just in its very innocent stages. When I was writing before I knew subway art or Style Wars or anything. I was like doing doodles in elevators and little writing stupid things on the walls. So yeah, and when Wild Style came out and Subway Art came out, you know, like, okay, this is, I started seeing a different concept and I got into it. And the reason why I did this movie has to do, of course, with my ongoing love for this culture, you know, which like I said, was born and, or it was awakened when I was very young, 12 years actually. You know, when the cops first caught me writing, they couldn't do anything because I was too young. You know, they just had to let me go. So I was like, okay, cool. That's a good concept, man. I'm gonna stick with that. And then, of course, when I did the film, there was no film about this culture, no feature film done in a decent way, like I thought. You know, like, of course there was Wild Style, which is it's not in Europe, and also with the way I saw writing culture back then. You know, I just wanted to do a piece that does justice to this culture the way I saw it back then, you know. So that's why I did the film. And also it happened because I studied in New York. I was living in New York from 1994 until 2000. I was working on a documentary about like the early pioneers of that culture, Phase 2, Futura, all these people, you know, but I couldn't get it up back then. People didn't want to finance it. People didn't see why this would be worthwhile, why this would be, you know, why should they put money in it? You know, like they didn't see, it's not like today. They didn't see it as a cultural movement, as art per se or whatever, you know. I just couldn't get it up. And out of that, I thought, yeah, well, then let me let me do a fictional story. Maybe that I'm successful with that. Yeah. And of course I wasn't, because it took me 5 years to get this up, you know. The German television stations, of course, they refused to collaborate. Deutsche Bahn and all the train companies said, no, fuck no, we're not gonna be part of this.
So I know that you painted the trains in another country. Is it right?
We actually did. And this was also like a long story, because we tried to find partners in Budapest first, then in Prague. We went there like for a week or 2 weeks, and location scouting and talking to people how to do it.
Why in Budapest?
Yeah. Well. No, I mean, in the end, the German transportation company, the Deutsche Bahn, they informed all European transit companies that we're trying to do this film and they shouldn't cooperate with us, you know? So that's why we ended up in Warsaw, and why we actually could do it there was by coincidence, because a friend of mine I studied with in New York, he like had contacts to a production company in Warsaw, and they just knew how to talk to those guys, you know, and how to make it happen. And this was a transitional moment also in Warsaw, because the transportation system was privatized, and, you know, things were possible. Yeah. Talking to people, and yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like the public ask you some questions.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I'm really curious what the people that doesn't do graffiti thought about this.
Yeah.
Because for me, when I was a kid, it shocked me completely. I think I knew this movie before Style Wars and Wild Style.
Ooh.
Yeah, because, you know,
heavy burden.
Yeah. YouTube decides what you see before and after, and so like this was kind of a Bible when I was 14. So yeah.
That's so nice to hear, actually, you know, because when I set out to do it, of course I wanted to reach people with that, you know, and I wanted to grab people's hearts with this thing, and I wanted to give something back that I received from the culture, and I'm so happy that it, you know, that it.
But the point
spread.
is, when I was 14, I was already doing graffiti, and that's why I got in touch with this movie. I'm really curious about the people that didn't do it. If there is someone in this room, and so anyway, anyone has a question, you can ask it. Abbiamo
Esatto,
microfono.
ragazzi, se ha qualcuno una domanda, raga, non facciamo i timidi, è venuto qua dalla Germania, cioè una domanda facciamola. No, dai, bravo Ricky, bravo. Ma no, anche uno spunto, cioè, qualsiasi cosa, una curiosità, un aneddoto. Vai.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Prova, si senti? Okay, Florian, I don't have a question because you already answered my question. My question was, how did you do to paint the trains with the permission and stuff? But you already answered. I just wanted to say thank you because this film is fantastic. Believe me, I watched it already at least 10 times when I was baby. But today you still managed to let my eyes. A drip, you know, you see. To cry, capito? Thank you, boss.
Thanks so much. You know what? The funny story about it, though, I have to tell you, because when we did do the shooting in Warsaw, a crew of writers, graffiti writers, showed up from Poland. When we were there, like filming, they wanted to bomb a train, you know, and they were like, "What is happening? What the fuck is happening here?" You know, they couldn't believe it. You know. Well, we gave them space. Let's put it like that. No, I mean, this whole, some of those things were done like on the, how do you say in English? Like especially like this scene in the end where the guy runs around like tagging everything, RIP. This was of course done how we could do it, you know. So yeah, not everything was like exactly. Now I can say it. 20 years is enough. 20 years is enough.
Sorry, Florian. And about the last thing about the buff, the
Yes.
train buff, the story about the buff. You also filming the buff, the workers buffing the train. You also stay in the yard and filming that.
Why did I put it in? Or why did I?
Yeah,
choose-
why?
choose-
Because for me it's really interesting also see that you know workers buff the train.
Yeah.
Is the final
Yeah.
step of graffiti, I think.
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's exactly the reason why I chose to put it in the film, you know, because you're lucky if you get to see your piece once. Maybe you don't get to see it at all. So like the destruction or the erasing of this culture is part of the culture. So that's why I chose to have it in the film, you know, and in the end.
That's also something that nobody never see, because when the train gets buffed,
Nobody sees it. True. True. And you know what the funny thing is, you know, from like being there in the buff, and I was in a buff before because I had to do like when I was busted before by the cops, I had to do like work in the buff. I didn't buff, but I was there and tried to do something else. But all the people in the, you know, cleaning trains I met loved the graffiti pieces. It's probably just there are other people who don't like it, you know, but they were like feeling bad erasing it. Also the guys in Poland, they were like, "Nah, what a shame, man. I don't want to wash it off." Interesting.
One question for me.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's my favorite. I already told you, it's like absolutely my favorite graffiti
Thank you.
film. The question is, I think it's very realistic. There's a lot of stuff in the film that is super realistic, like how they behave in the yard. You know, they hear something, they stop, and then it's nothing, and they just carry on, stuff like that. The actors and the rest of the crew, right?
Mhm.
Were they part of it, of the culture, or did you have to explain to them like everything from scratch? Because they like, if it comes across like they know exactly what they're acting about, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Well, the Mike, the black guy, he was definitely he had experience. He was a writer before, didn't do much, but he did do things, so he knew what it's all about. And the others were close to the culture, but didn't have a lot of experience. So what we did, we coached them. You know, we did like workshops with them. Neon and all the other people were like doing workshops for them. They really learned this from scratch, tagging and piecing for months. And seriously,
They're pretty good.
yeah, and we went to the yards with them, you know, and like sneaked in there, so they get the feeling of the tension and what it is, you know, all about.
Legal action to teach them.
Exactly, exactly. So this paid off.
You should have done behind the scenes type of thing.
Say again?
You should have done like a behind the scenes type
Well,
of.
there is a behind the scenes. Actually, it is on the DVD, and I'm trying to put it on the Blu-ray when we put it out, maybe next year or something. Again, yeah. I hope so, man. If you invite me, I'm back in no time because I'm enjoying it a lot. And thanks to you guys, man. You're making it easy to come back.
Thank you, Florian. Last question. Se qualcun altro ha una domanda? Bravo.
Okay. Hi. I'm here.
Ah, yeah. Hi.
I was just wondering if while you were filming, you had some reference, because I saw like a bit of 8 Miles and Train Spotting in it, and I was just wondering what were your reference while filming it, and if you had any.
Those two weren't my references, but of course I do have references, you know, and films I love and people, filmmakers I respect a lot. I mean, for sure, because it was like one of the first hood films out there that was realistic. La Haine was a huge influence in a way, you know, since it was like also a great piece of filmmaking, you know, not just, yeah, it's just an amazing film. And but also like there was a guy from France I really admired called Siegfried. Nobody knows this guy. He did some films like all handheld camera, very very interesting stuff. I loved it.
Also, the position of the camera was so interesting because it was still but also moving with the character.
Yeah. That was of course that was the concept, that we never put it on a tripod or anything. We just, this whole thing should be handheld. And I had the great pleasure of working with my childhood friend. This is also his first film, and I met him like when I was, I don't know, 11 or something. And he got into filmmaking, so he made that film. Now he's the professor of filmmaking at Munich Film School. Crazy man.
Wow.
And the guy, the kid, Elias Mbarek, I don't know if you know him. He's like the biggest German superstar you can imagine.
He's famous.
He's the man. You couldn't leave the house without like 100 girls following him and screaming. So that's the kind of star status.
Movie, obviously.
Of course. What else? Yeah. Whole train. For sure.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thank you very much. If anybody is interested, because that question hasn't come up, to get the soundtrack or a DVD, to come talk to me. I have some here if anybody wants to. This is some old school technology, CDs and DVDs from back in the days, if you remember. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Questa è una chicca, neanche lo sapevo anch'io, quindi per chi li vuole, raga, non lo sapevamo neanche noi, ce li ha portati belli freschi. How much, man?
$20.
Wait.
20
I get it.
per chi li vuole, raga.
The soundtrack.
E anche infatti, se posso un minuto, solo last question about the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Solo due parole about the soundtrack, because man, it's crazy. I want to also talk about your, because you are also a producer. So man, it's really interesting that you are the director, but the producer as well. So talk about it just 1 minute, please.
You mean the soundtrack or
the soundtrack? Yeah, please.
okay? Well, how should I go about this?
Like KRS-One, this plug, you know, it's crazy, man. It's a hip hop legend, you know.
Well, I at some point I chose to do the beats myself because I was I thought that's the best fit, you know. And then I talked to the people that represented the culture for me the best and that had some connection. Tame One, unfortunately, he's not alive anymore. These people, you know, who were either writers or had some kind of connection to the culture, and then I sent them bits like the scenes from the film that I wanted them to do a track on, and maybe some ideas and like little things that I wanted them to address in the lyrics, and then we recorded it. But this was, of course, this sounds simple. This was also like a 1-year process, I think, to finish it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Grazie ragazzi, grazie mille. Ringraziamo il Cinema Beltrade per averci permesso.
One last thing. First of all, you guys, thank you so much for making it happen. Seriously, it's a very warm welcome, and of course also to you guys, Cinema Beltrade, for having us and making it happen. And thanks to you.
Grazie a tutti, infatti, one love. Grazie.
Grazie Mattia, grazie Florian, Nico e tutti quanti. Dobbiamo ovviamente chiedervi di lasciare la sala perché abbiamo il film di mezzanotte che incombe e alcuni spettatori si sono già seduti per vederlo e fra un po' mi siedo anch'io perché lo voglio vedere. Grazie ancora, buonanotte a tutti. Potete rimanere ovviamente sul sagrato finché volete a chiacchierare o acquistare i DVD e il soundtrack e i CD. Grazie ancora.
Then I'm gonna ask you privately the question about the future of graffiti movies.
Sure.